On the morning of June 30th, 1908, the sky broke. Imagine you are a reindeer herder in the remote Siberian taiga. Suddenly the sky splits in two. A searing blue-white light, brighter and hotter than the sun, streaks of light dance across the horizon. A wave of unbearable heat washes over you, setting your clothes on fire. Seconds later, a sound like artillery fire, a deafening shockwave, throws you through the air and knocks you unconscious. When you wake up, the world has changed. The forest around you for hundreds of miles has been flattened, snapped like twigs. This was the reality for the witnesses of the Tunguska Event. A cosmic hammer blow, 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb at Hiroshima, had struck the Earth. And for over a century, it has remained one of history's most terrifying and perplexing cold cases. For years, the story was just a rumor, a whispered tale from a part of the world no one ever went to. The chaos of World War I and the Russian Revolution meant that no one could mount a proper investigation. It wasn't until 1927 that the first scientific expedition, led by a determined Russian mineralogist named Leonid Kulik, finally reached the isolated site. Kulik was expecting to find the holy grail of meteor science, a colossal impact crater, and the fragments of the meteorite that caused it. He found the devastation. Over 800 square miles of forest had been obliterated. An estimated 80 million trees were felled in a bizarre radial pattern, all pointing away from a central point, a forest of ghostly parallel toothpicks. The power required to do that was almost unimaginable. But the one thing he didn't find was a crater. There was no impact site, no hole, no shattered rock, no fragments of any meteorite. Nothing. The scene of the crime was there, but the weapon and the victim were missing. And just like that, the riddle wasn't just what exploded, but how it could explode with such force and leave no trace of itself behind. The deeper scientists dug, the stranger the evidence became. The blast had registered on seismic stations all across Europe. In London, barometers detected a pressure wave that had circled the entire planet. And then there were the skies. For several nights after the event, the sky over Asia and Europe glowed with an eerie chemical light. It was so bright that people in London could read a newspaper outside at midnight. These were the luminous nights, a beautiful but unsettling clue, a sign that the upper atmosphere itself had been fundamentally changed. A mystery this big, with a missing body, is a magnet for wild theories. And Tunguska has them all. Naturally, you have the UFO enthusiasts who claim a nuclear-powered alien ship exploded. You have the more creative thinkers who suggest a miniature black hole passed through the Earth. And there was even a theory that it was a mishap from one of Nikola Tesla's death ray experiments. But as always, the truth suggested by the evidence is far more interesting. The lack of a crater wasn't a sign of something paranormal. It was the key to solving the case. It told scientists that whatever the object was, it never actually hit the ground. It detonated in the air. The leading theory for decades was that a small comet, made mostly of ice and dust, entered the atmosphere at hypersonic speed. The intense heat and pressure caused it to vaporize in a massive airburst explosion about 3 to 6 miles up. It would explain the blast, the heat, the lack of a crater, and even the luminous nights, as ice crystals and dust were scattered through the stratosphere. A neat and tidy explanation, except for one problem. Recent expeditions to the site have analyzed the soil and the peat bogs, which act like a historical record. They haven't found the high levels of iridium that you'd expect from a comet, but they have found microscopic fragments of rock with a composition similar to a stony asteroid. The modern consensus now points to a terrifying hybrid of the two theories. It was likely a stony asteroid, perhaps 200 feet across, that entered the atmosphere at such a shallow angle and at such an immense speed that it behaved like a comet. It superheated, fractured, and exploded in the mid-atmosphere with the force of a hydrogen bomb, creating all the devastation of an impact without the crater. The Tunguska Event was a warning shot, a random act of cosmic violence that serves as a chilling reminder of our place in the universe. The riddle of the missing crater is likely solved, but it leaves us with a far more unsettling question. The object that did this was a mere speck in the vastness of space, and we know with absolute certainty that there are millions more just like it still out there. The only remaining question is, when is the next one? The Tunguska Event was a chilling reminder that our planet is floating in a cosmic shooting gallery. What do you find more terrifying, the sheer power of the explosion, or the fact that it left almost no trace? Let us know in the comments below. If you believe history's greatest riddles are worth investigating, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Relic Riddles for more deep dives into the unknown.